Welcome to the show. I'm Greg, the boxing doctor over at theboxingscience.com. And for the next couple of hours, I'm going to be hanging out, taking predictions, and getting ready for this big time matchup tonight between Earl Spence and Danny Garcia. And I think it's going to be a fabulous matchup. I think this is going to be a fabulous matchup. As you can see, the call in lines at the bottom of the thing. Give me a call. 426, 253 426 1221. Give me a call. Uh, I'm the boxing. I have my own website over here at theboxingscience.com where I talk boxing strategy and boxing business. And something I wanted to bring up tonight about before I give you my prediction. I'm going to be heading over to watch the fight at a few buddies' house tonight. There's going to be 3 or 4 of us to get together, and we will have our mask on for sure. As you can see, the call-in line is 253-426-1221. And I was thinking about some aspects of the tonight's fight that we might not have thought about. Of course, you just heard, Jack Reese. He's going to be the referee to tonight's battle. What do I think about Jack Reese? He's been a pretty good referee. He cares about the fighters. Hmm. Yeah. I think he's a good referee. The question is he going to allow any inside fighting tonight, or is he going to be jumping in and breaking up early on this fight? Another thing I'm thinking about here is the judges for this fight. The judges for this fight is going to be Ray Danasco, Larry Hazard Jr., and Steve Weisfield have been the guys that have assigned to this fight. We're taking predictions here at theboxingscience.com. Call in at your leisure. The number is 253-426-1221. Scrolling down at the bottom of the page. Give me a call if you want to throw in your 1 minute of thoughts about this matchup tonight. I don't know. I'm still not sure who's going to win this bout tonight. Both of these guys are just outstanding opponents. And, the question I keep asking, I'm looking at a picture here of Earl Spence and Sean Porter. And I tell you something, if you've seen Sean Porter fight, he's a guy who fights with great intensity. He's bringing it all the time. Sean Showtime Porter. And when I see Sean Porter, I think about some, like Smoking Joe, fighting with great intensity, putting the pressure on the fighter all the time. I'm bringing these comments up right now because I'm wondering, will Danny Garcia be able to fight with that type of intensity? And if not, will Earl Spence just outwork him and win the decision, no problem at all? Could that be the case? I saw back to Showtime Sean Porter and how he fights with such intensity. When I think about it, I think like a Jose Chavez Jr., Julio Chavez Jr., or a Joe Frazier, or I think about a guy like Irish Mickey Ward, or Carlos Madonna. Just fighting ferociously. Just trying to break your will. Now I don't know if Danny Garcia fights that type of style. In fact, I'm sure he does. He's more of a counterpuncher, laid back. If he has to go forward, I'm not sure if he's a great fighter going forward. Going forward, gives you kind of an advantage. You know what I mean? If you're fighting a guy who's not a counter puncher. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking here is if the fights that Danny Garcia lost came down to being outworked, especially against Showtime Sean Porter. Just got outworked. And so I tell you, I'm trying to predict this thing. I'm trying to convince myself. If anybody's in earsight of this, give me a call and tell me what your predictions is. I got the boxing. We're in the boxing science laboratory right now, trying to dissect this matchup for tonight. I don't really know what to say. I think it's going to be an outstanding matchup. That's just why on the caption here you see on the screen a rocket flying in the spaceship. This could be this type of fight. This could be this type of fight. When I think about both of these fighters, Earl Spence and Danny Garcia, I can't think of a time that I've never ever seen either one of them hurt in a fight. And my question, I guess, is to start this thing off: if somebody was getting hurt, who would get hurt? When I think about Earl Spence, I think about a guy who's got a fantastic arsenal of tools, fighting up and down, body attack splendid. I mean, will break his opponent down and make them wish they were never in that ring with him. And then when I look at a guy like Danny Garcia, I think about a guy, a precision puncher. Don't make a mistake. If you get caught with the wrong shot, it could be lights out. That's how I see Danny Garcia. Skill wise, I can't say. Who's got the better balance? Who's the better defensive fighter? All those questions are so hard for me to answer. And if anybody here has the answers to those questions to kind of point me in the right direction on how I should be thinking on this fight. Experience wise, I did a breakdown the other night on the experience. Who's the more experienced fighter? Danny Garcia. I had to give that to Danny Garcia. And he fought 36 fights and Earl Spence 26 fights. I have to think about the level of competition. I mean, Danny Garcia, he has some fantastic fighters on his list he's beaten. Maybe they were past their prime, but he beat them. Some were close, but he beat them. And he fighting Keith Thurman and Showtime Sean Porter, and he fought against Zab Super Judah, and he's fought some outstanding fighters. And so, what I got to say about this is, I don't know, truthfully, who's going to win this fight tonight. And I'm looking through the notes here. I'm looking through my notes. And it's just a hard one to pick. If you guys got any insight on this thing, you're more than welcome to call me over at thebostonscience.com. The number we're talking on today is 423-426-1221. Take a prediction. The phone lines are open right now. You can give me a call. Another thing I wanted to think about is the judging. What kind of judges are these guys? What kind of, how do they judge fights? Are they the type of judges that if you're the more aggressive fighter, even if you're not landing, but you're throwing, you're showing aggression, you should win the round? Are they that type of referees? Or are they the type of referees that, hey, I'm looking for scoring punches. When you land a scoring punch in the punching zone, I give you credit for it. And back in my old school scoring days, I would give 1 point for a headshot and a half a point for a body shot. This is more the body than the head. But, as you know, probably the body attack has more devastating effects on the fighter in the long run. But he's going to be able to get his head out the way. But that body, man, that's hard to move. And when I think about a guy like Earl Spence pumping that straight jab to the body with that straight left hand, hitting piercing punches, man. Each shot taking the life out your legs. And I don't know, can Danny Garcia defend that type of attack? That's the question here before me. Can he defend that type of attack? And the other question is Earl Spence putting his chin at high risk by going to the body with that straight left hand? He's there for a counter shot, right? So I really don't know here at this point how to predict this matchup. I don't know what to say. who's to say and how to say this thing is going to come out? I mean, what's the chance of a knockout? Anybody ever seen Danny Garcia get really dominated? I've never seen Danny Garcia get obviously two fights. Uh, I think both by split decision loss, or maybe one by unanimous against Keith Thurman. But I think the fight against Sean Porter was a split decision. Mostly the fight was won by Sean Porter in the second half of the fight, just fighting with just great intensity. And one thing I know this is about Danny Garcia and Errol Spence. But one thing I've noticed about Showtime Porter is he's improved his overall boxing skills from when he initially started just being a straight, what I thought was a brawler. But now his overall boxing ability has improved. That tells me something about his trainer, his dad. And that's another thing we need to talk about now is the two guys, his trainer. Of course, you know Danny Garcia. His dad is his trainer. I don't know if his dad has ever trained anybody else. Does anybody know if his dad got any other champions? And um, let me see if I can look up here who is Earl Spence's trainer. I've seen the guy on TV a lot of times, but I can't call his name off the top of my. I can't call it off the top of my head. Derrick James, that's it. Derrick James, yeah. That's it. Derrick James is Earl Spence Jr.'s trainer, and I don't know if Derrick James trained any other fighters though. I don't know. Does Derrick James train any other fighters? Does he have any other champions? Does he fall into a class like Buddy McGirt or some of these other great trainers who's had many champions? And I don't know. I mean, can you be a great trainer if you got a great fighter? You know what I mean? Obviously, you can, right? Or you're a great trainer because you got a great fighter. Now, if you were, let's talk about if you were in Earl Spence's camp. I'm wondering, what are they saying? What would be the strategy for this bout tonight? Do you come out of here, uh, try to go straight to Earl Spence and go toe to toe and try to see, hey, if I can land a bomb early, I can get him out of here? Do you think that would be a wise strategy? What do you think about something like that? I don't know what I would be telling. I mean, they would have to be. They would. I'm not sure what the strategy would be. What would the strategy be if you were over in Danny Garcia's corner? I'm pretty sure that his dad's a pretty smart guy. I'm pretty sure they've watched film on Earl Spence. What would you do? What would be your strategy? What would you tell your son, your fighter? How would you fight this guy Earl Spence? I mean, we all know he's just the toughest you're going to get in the ring. I mean, the fight between he and Sean Porter, I saw a replay of it the other night, and Earl Spence took some shots from Sean Porter. Does Sean Porter have great punching power? I mean, I really can't answer that question. I can't recall him having any fantastic knockouts like Danny Garcia. If Could Earl Spence take the shots? What if a clean left hook get in there from Danny Garcia on Earl Spence? You think that would have any effect? What kind of strategy would you offer to Danny Garcia to going into this fight? I mean, he's not fighting a chump. I mean, he's fighting a champ. So I'm thinking, what would you do? And if you're Derek James, and you're over at Earl Spence corner, I'm sure he's looked at film. He appears to be a smart trainer to me. What are you saying to Earl Spence? What kind of strategy are we fighting? Are you saying, hey, just be yourself and do what you do? I mean, I don't know what that means. Does that mean, hey, come in there, continue with the body attack? He doesn't have the skills to catch you with anything. Could that be an angle? I think this is definitely a career moment for both guys. What happens if Earl Smith goes in here and get knocked out? Do we say, well, he was just a young guy? He's 30 years old. He's not a young guy. I guess in the boxing game, that's not young, right? Do we say the accident, he crashed in an accident and his body wasn't ready? I'm talking about if Earl Spence gets knocked out. What excuses are we going to have? Do you know Earl Spence as being a one-punch knockout guy? I mean, Kell Brook, he beat him down, he pressured him down, he got him in the corner, and he couldn't move and landed shots, and Kell Brook kind of threw in the towel, per se. Can we really judge Earl Spence by fighting you know who I'm talking about? Garcia, the one that came up in weight. Funny, these two guys got the same last night. Oh, I got it right here on my paperwork. Mikey Garcia. That's what I'm talking about. Michael Garcia and Danny Garcia got the same name, last name. Huh? I mean, is Earl Smith gonna be known as the Garcia beat up master or something like that? The Garcia fighting slayer or some crazy stupid name like that? I'm just thinking of stupid stuff. Can we give him really super credit for that, for beating Mikey Garcia, a guy that came up in weight and was attempting to do something great? So has he really proven himself? That's the question about Earl Spence Jr. Will this to be the night that pushes me over the edge that says Earl Spence has surpassed Canelo for being the pound for pound best fighter right now? So I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this matchup. Yeah, I really don't know what to say about this matchup. I'm stumped, man. So if anybody got any comments about this matchup, to call in numbers on the line 253-426-1221. I'm just here rambling about the fight tonight. I'm sad, excited. I'm going over to a friend of mine tonight later on. It's going to be about 3 or 4 of us together. We will have our mask on. At least I'll have my mask on. And I'm looking forward to some of the earlier fights on that card too. Let's see if we can find out who's all fighting on that card here tonight. Let's just take a look here and see who's fighting. We got Fundura versus Ahmad. We got Josecito Lopez against Santana. And of course, we got the main events, Spence versus Garcia. That's the card tonight. That is the card tonight. And I just can't wait. Sebastian Fundura against Habib Ahmed. Fundura 15-0 with one draw. And Hamed 27-1-1. One guy's got 18 KOs, the other guy has 10. Let's see, are they fighting for a belt? Doesn't look like they're fighting for a belt. Oh, they fight for the super welterweight title eliminator. That's what we got. That's the co-main attraction. Let's look at the other fight. Of course, we got here the Riverside Rocky, they call him. Josecito Lopez, 37 wins, 8 losses with no draws. And he's fighting Francisco Santana, 25 wins, 8 losses. They're about matched up, about the same. Both of them are orthodox fighters. Francisco Santana got 12 knockouts, and Josecito got 20. So, can he revive his career with a win like this? Josecito Lopez, and Francisco Santana. And we're about 3 hours and a minute away from when this live stream gets started. It's going to be starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm in the West Coast time zone over in Tacoma, Washington. And I'm broadcasting live right now from the Boxing Science Laboratory. Another fight, a Mexican Eduardo Ramirez take on featherweight contender Miguel Flores in a WBC title eliminator. They're going to be our first fighter tonight. Then Lopez Santana, Fundura Hamad, and Spence Jr. versus Garcia, the final bout. So I'm predicting all these fights. These fighters all look kind of evenly matched. All these fights may go the distance. They may go the distance. And they got some preliminary fights. They got an Isaac Avelar, that's it. Meeting unbeaten Sakuria Lucas. That's going to be on regular TV, it looks like. And Vito Milnicki Jr. You're going to be taking on Steve Puliamiam, however you say that name, in the 6th round. Then we got Burley Brooks facing Marco Delgado in a 6th round attraction. All these are pre-fights before the main card begins on pay-per-view. So as I was saying earlier, this matchup, I think, is a top-notch matchup. And, I'm looking forward. I am looking forward to seeing this matchup. If you want to throw your comments on this bout tonight, the number's on the line. I'm Greg with theboxingscience.com. Call in. And come become a part of my community. I have my own website. I'm at www.theboxingscience.com. Come hang out with me. And right now I'm streaming talking about this Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence Jr. matchup tonight, which I think is going to be an explosion, like a rocket ship going into space. I can't wait. I'm taking predictions. If you got a prediction of the fight, call in, let me know. You got 30 seconds to give your prediction, and then we'll move on to the next caller. So that's what I'm talking about right now. I'm going to be chatting here for the next few minutes. You want to call in? Call in. The number is on the bottom of the screen, 253-426-1221. I am taking predictions tonight on the Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence matchup for the welterweight championship of the world. We got two supremely talented opponents fighting here tonight. And when you get this high level of competition, great things could happen. Could this be another Leo Santa Cruz versus Gervonta Davis type of matchup? Could this be something like that? Could this be some situation where Earl Spence just be jab, 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 combination, body attack on Danny Garcia and get him posted up in the corner and then land the uppercut shot that ends the night in spectacular fashion? I know some may not know me, and there's thousands of boxing sites out there. My name's Greg. I'm the boxing doctor with theboxingscience.com. And if you want to come in and talk to me tonight, throw your predictions out there. Here's the phone line to call. You got 1 minute. The 1 minute line is how you can call in and give me your predictions. English speaking, unless you got an interpreter. So, as I was talking earlier about Earl Spence's Jr.'s trainer, Derrick James. What do we know about Derrick James? Has he trained anybody else other than Earl Spence? What kind of insight? What kind of strategy are they? You got to have a strategy, right? Don't you have to have a strategy in boxing? You don't just go put your gloves on and go in there and fight, do you? Another angle I was just thinking about. I wanted to do the trainers scout the referees and say, this referee likes this type of fighter, that referee doesn't, and we don't want this guy to referee our match. Now, what I just described about the corner and the management scouting the referees for the fight, That's what I call doing your homework. Just a few days ago, changing topics, Earl Spence Jr. sent out a tweet saying, "Buy that stuff so I can get me a new house." And I was just thinking to myself, when me and my buddies all chipping in to get the fight, I think these fights are like $70 now. Well, at least that's one of the most expensive bricks on Earl Spence's new house. I was laughingly thinking. So I'm hoping that, hey, if you want that new house, come in and put a show on, Earl. This is the Boxing Science Prediction Show. And we are, I'm taking predictions from I'm taking predictions on this matchup tonight between Earl Spence and Danny Garcia. And I'm just basically kind of rambling along uh, about the bout. So join me, join me over here in the Boston Science Studios and in the Boston Science Laboratory while I ramble on about this bout. Tell me what your thoughts are. Because I'm having a really hard time coming to a fine decision who's the winner in this bout. So what do you guys think? Phone numbers on the screen: 253 426 1221. I run www.theboxingscience.com, where we talk boxing business and boxing strategy. You're welcome to join. There's no cost at this time. Building the largest boxing community of people who love talking about boxing. Excuse me. And I just think that tonight is a great night. High level competition. Outstanding fighters. And if you got a prediction, the number's on the screen. Come tell me about it. If you got a prediction, come tell me about it. I'm listening. I'm all ears. I'm thinking, if there's a knockout in this bout, who gets knocked out? Is is Danny Garcia going to really be in actually punching range enough? Is this one going to be one of those old brawls? You know, Jose Luis Castillo versus Chico Corrales. Is it going to be something like that? Could something of that greatness? Probably that fight was probably one of my top 5 fights of all time. Is there a possibility that we could see something of that magnitude, of that great event, happen tonight? To think about that fight. Luis Castillo, Chico Corrales, fought on Showtime. It was free. And we see a spectacular performance by both fighters. Incredible. Now, what is the chance of something like that happening tonight? Is there any possibility? That we can see something of that magnitude, of that great event happen tonight. But think about that fight. Think about a great fight like Arturo Thunder Gotti versus Mickey Ward 1. Or two guys. I mean, they fought 3 times. And all 3 fights were outstanding. But the first one was incredible. A night to remember. Or is it just these guys, they're too skilled. Their skill level is so high that there would be no need to be in a brawl like that. But I would kind of put Earl Spence and Sean Porter, tough, aggressive fight. I enjoyed it. And I don't think Earl Spence is the type of fighter that's used to backing up, right? Could we see something like that? Could we see something crazy where Danny Garcia decides, I'm not taking a step back. I'm going straight ahead. 2 trains, both going 60 miles an hour. And says, I'm coming forward. The other guy says, I'm coming forward. And the loser is the guy who gets knocked off the track. Or, I mean, I'm sure Earl Spence has counterpunching skills, but I can't say, in my opinion, from what I've seen, know him for that. I kind of know him as being a come ahead fighter, straight ahead, not straight ahead, but a pressure fighter, slick defense. You throwing shots at him, he's moving and sliding and slipping where you can't really land anything flush. Yeah, you can hit him, but it's kind of like a grazing punch. But I can't really say. Maybe in that Earl Spence Jr. fight, he did move away. He did back up a little bit. But to say that that's Earl Spence's style of fighting, backing up, trying to be a counterpuncher, I don't know about that. Prediction lines are open. Phone numbers at the bottom of the screen. 253-426-1221. And I'm just kind of hanging out here in the Boxing Science Laboratory talking about this matchup because I am so excited when I see top-notch opponents in there. Another thing, People, you hear some say, boxing is dead, boxing is dead. But I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. Tonight is a prime example of boxing not being dead. In my opinion, there should only be, I mean, you have these pay per view fights all the time, but in every weight class there should be every year two top notch championship. What I'm trying to say is when they combine all the rings together. The belts. There should be undisputed title events in every weight class at least three times a year. Every weight class all the way down. No doubt every year there should be a Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder, and then the winner of that fight Anthony Joshua. In the meanwhile, Anthony Joshua fights somebody to make himself worthy to fight against the winner of Wilder versus Tyson Fury. There is no doubt that tonight, the winner of this bout right here, Terence Crawford, possibly should be in line to fight next. And then after Terence Crawford, if he beats him and wins the title, he gets a tune-up title, gets a tune-up fight. Not a tune-up fight, but a payday. And then he gotta fight for the unified belts. The next number one contender. And that's where it needs to go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, if you're the champion, you shouldn't be fighting them but other champions to try to get all the belts. A few weeks ago, getting off topic, I watched Luis Ortiz fought some guy. I can't even remember his name. And I mean, this fight did not even last 1 minute. 1 minute, the fight did not last. I joke about it, that I was cooking popcorn and my popcorn took longer to cook than the fight. What we're talking about today is the Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence prediction show. If you got a prediction on the fight, and you got a reason why you think your prediction is going to win, call in and share it with us. We got the Science Lab line open. The Science line is open. The Boxing Science line is open at 253-426-1221. Give me a call and let me know what you think. Also, I talk boxing over at theboxingscience.com. And come over there and become part of the community. Starting the largest boxing community. Well, it's not about me rambling on about the fight. It's about what the fans has to say. It's about your opinion. What you got to say. That's what this is all about. What you got to say. It's about what the fans has to say. It's about your opinion. What you got to say. That's what this is all about. What you got to say. Yeah, I'm over at theboxingscience.com. That's where I hang out. And if you want to come in and talk with me, just come in, Go to the boxing signs, click the link at the top of the page, and you'll be in the live stream. And you can voice your opinion. And I'm pretty sure there are thousands of other streams out there. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm just kind of hanging out, buying some time until I get ready for the fight later on tonight. Looking forward to watching Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence get in there and throw down. And I can't wait. I just think this is just high level competition, and that's why I enjoy this sports. As a kid, I played all kinds of sports, and that built a competitive fire in me that I love to watch pretty much everything. I'm not really a fan of the MMA, but I like the boxing though, because it seems like more of a science to me. Concept being hit, but don't be hit. Now, whoever thought of something like that way, way, way back in the day? Let's make up a sport. We're going to put some gloves on you guys. And the whole object of the thing is you hit the other guy, but he don't hit you. Interesting. Interesting philosophy. Call-in lines are open. This is the call-in prediction line. You can call in, give me your prediction on the Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. welterweight championship tonight. Both guys came in the 146.5 pounds each. Excellent condition. Both guys look fit. Of course, if you make the weight, you're probably going to be fit. And I'm just kind of waiting here. Time is not moving fast enough for these guys to get in the ring. I mean, the pre-fights start here shortly. They're probably on Fox TV. Let's see if I can turn over there and check that out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup tonight right here. But I can't predict what kind of fight it's going to be. That's where I usually got a okay eye for what kind of fight it's going to be. Like last week's charity event between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I kind of predicted that would have to be the way the fight would have to be. Is Roy Jones Jr. grabbing and holding and tying up and really not letting Mike Tyson, throw crazily. Because if he threw something crazy and landed the wrong thing, it could have been, since Mayweather beat the Japanese guy up, another knockout. But I don't think it's going to be like that tonight. Question that keeps crossing my mind is, what if it has to be an inside battle? As I'm looking here at my preparation before the fight, Errol Spence has the reach advantage. He has a reach of 72 inches. Danny Garcia has a reach of 68.5 inches. Will that make a big difference tonight? Would that make a big difference tonight? That's the question. Will that force Danny Garcia to have to come to Errol Spence? I got to come to him. I got to get inside, and I got to try to do something. If he stands on the outside, does Errol Spence really have the boxing skills? This is a question, not a statement. To stand on the outside and rip Danny Garcia to pieces with the jab and the body work? Is he that type of fighter? Does he have that type of ability? These are all questions. Could this be a Earl Spence acting like Sean Porter, just out hustling Danny Garcia and get the victory? Wonder, this is a question. Will this fight be closer and more competitive than Earl Spence's fight against Mikey Garcia? What do you think about that? The phone lines are open at 253-426-1221. What kind of fight would this be? What if this fight, what does Danny Garcia got the jab? Is his jab good enough where he can work his way inside to Earl Spence without being hit with something that'll hold him off? What do you think about that? And another thing is, does Earl Spence need to go inside? He has a reach advantage. Can he just stand on the outside and pick and peck and pick and peck and pick and peck and just tear Danny Garcia to shreds like a broom? Could that be a possibility? It's a many questions here. It is a many questions here. What do you guys think earlier in the fight? Another thought. Could there be some point in the game or in the fight where Earl Spence get hit with something by Danny Garcia that I'm speaking about the accident that brings a flashback? Did you see those pictures of Earl Spence in the hospital? He had all those bandages on his face. A year's a long time. I think it's enough time to heal. I'm looking forward to this thing. I sure am. And as of this moment right now, I am still got my thoughts in the air. And for some reason in the back of my mind, I am leaning toward Danny Garcia and his bout. Could I be crazy? Could I be crazy? The calling lines are open. If you want to make a prediction on tonight's fight, you can call me at 253-426-1221. I'm taking predictions, adding them up and checking them twice. And as I was just saying a few seconds ago, I am kind of leaning. I mean, this is like 51-49, man. This is 51-49 for me. And I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, Earl Spence won by split decision against Sean Porter. And Danny Garcia lost by split decision to Sean Porter. And man, what you think about that? What you think about that? Two guys, high level competition. I mean, skillful. And I don't know how to call it. Let's see what the stat line is on here. Let's see what the money lines is on this matchup right here. odds for Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence. Let's see what they're saying. What are they saying here? Betting odds. Danny Garcia is the underdog. Looks like he's like a 5-1 underdog. 4 to 5 to 1 underdog. You can put Danny Garcia's plus 400. I mean, you know, so I'm looking at some predictions here. Evander, the real deal Holyfield. His comments are he thinks that Errol Spence is a very technical fight, and Danny Garcia is a great counterpuncher, but he's going with Errol Spence Jr. That's a great Evander Holyfield. Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins. He says he's going with Danny Garcia. Will defeat Errol Spence by unanimous decision in a very hard, tough battle of wills. Michael Garcia, 4-time division champion. He's kind of predicting. Danny Garcia will be competitive and have his moments, but Earl will box more and win by decision. Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, he's going with Errol Spence. Andre Bertle. Andre Bertle, he's going with Danny Swift Garcia. And yeah, let's go over here to Twitter, where we're just kind of hanging out and see what these guys over here. See if I can get a few predictions over there at Twitter. We're hanging out here in the Boston Science Laboratories, and anybody that wants to comment, comment on the fight tonight, the phone number's on the screen, and you're welcome to call in and give your predictions. I just tweeted out the live stream for tonight. The line is open, as you can see it on the screen. I'm taking predictions right now, as of this very moment. I don't know. I don't know who's the winner. Phone lines are open. You see the number on the front screen. I've gave you some predictions from other people. And anyone who wants to call in, the call-in lines are open. I'm ready. I'm the boxing doctor over at theboxingscience.com, where I talk boxing strategy and boxing business. Let's see what the purse is on this fight. That's a question that'd be something I would like to know. What is the purse for this bout? What is the purse? One thing I'm happy about in this fight is we're gonna have some fans in the stadium, man. I mean, that made that Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz exciting. Real people were in there. And let's take a look and see what the purse is. Earl Spence in his fight against Mikey Garcia, he made $8 million. That's a pretty good chunk of change. And they're getting a lot of the pay-per-view purse. They have a prediction here that Danny Garcia and Earl Spence, which one making between $8 and $10 million. That's a pretty good, nice paycheck. Yeah. Earl Spence is guaranteed $8 million. Guaranteed. Danny Garcia is guaranteed $5 million, plus a share of the pay-per-view revenues. Pretty nice. I like it. I like it, man. So guys, give me a call. The call-in lines are open. I'm just here rambling on about the Earl Spence versus Danny Garcia tonight. I'm taking live predictions here. You call into the line, and I'll take your prediction. I'm going to be sitting here just for a little while until it's about time for the fight. And I'm taking calls. I am taking live calls. Your prediction. No need to call in and ramble. Just call in and say, I'm Bill from Georgia, and I think Earl Spence is going to win tonight because he's the faster, he's the tallest, he's got the longest reach, or whatever you want to say. Call-in lines are open. 253 426 1221. Give me a jing. So, yeah, I'm thinking a couple $100 on Danny Garcia could turn out to be a pretty nice payday for you, assuming he's able to get the win. But I can't really say but. I mean, Danny Garcia has all the tools necessary to be, he was a champion. And I'm just so rambling about tonight's bout before the bout starts. I got a little time. Me and a few friends are getting together. We will be wearing our masks. If they don't, I'll be wearing mine. And I'm just kind of taking predictions. Someone can call in and maybe convince me who they think is the winner. I don't have any money on the fights. I don't usually bet on boxing. And I'm Greg over in the Boxing Science Studios, and we're talking about this matchup before it gets started. I have nothing to do for the next few hours, so I decided to do a live stream and learn how to use this program and see if I can get a couple of calls. And even if I don't get a couple of calls, you can just listen to me ramble about all the different angles I'm trying to see this fight. And as of right now, I am slightly 51-49 leaning toward Danny Garcia. Slightly 51-49 leaning toward Danny Garcia. Why am I leaning toward Danny Garcia? It's because he's got good power. He's an accurate puncher. He's got decent defense. And thinking about the fighter that Earl Spence is, kind of a come straight ahead fighter, he might be subject to a counter shot that he don't see. Now, I'm not sure if I just see these two guys standing up in the ring, shooting jabs and countering, shooting jabs and countering. I don't know how that would go up. But if I could see Danny Garcia backing away with great balance and causing Earl to miss and throwing something and landing, and that being the difference in the fight. Then another thing that keeps crossing my mind, what if this thing goes to decision? What if it goes to decision? As we know, when Danny Garcia fought against Sean Porter, Sean out-hustled him in the second half of the fight. When he fought Keith Thurman, he started too late. But it did show me in that Keith Thurman fight, I'm speaking about Danny Garcia, that he can fight going forward. Keith Thurman is a powerful puncher. But Danny Garcia went in there and lost slimly. Let's see, what was that decision? He lost to let's see. I'm talking about Danny Garcia. I printed off his boxing schedule. He lost to Keith Thurman by split decision, and he lost to Sean Porter by unanimous decision. And both fights were stupidly close. That's one thing about that darn Sean Porter, man. He'll make you fight. He will make you fight, Sean Porter will. Don't come around him half-stepping. He's bringing it. And so, Danny Garcia, when he knocked out Adrian Granados, impressive knockout. I think at the time, Granados had never been knocked out before, and Danny Garcia, with the 1-2 combination, got him out of there. He knocked out Brandon Rios. Brandon Rios was a tough opponent. Maybe he was past his time at the time. And I'm looking at some tough fighters on Danny Garcia's schedule. Everybody remember Robert the Ghost Guerrero. I don't know if he was the guy who got caught with the plaster in his gloves or not, but that's not the point here. Brandon Rios. He knocked out Brandon Rios. TKO. Brandon Rios ain't no chump. So when I just look down at this schedule of Danny Garcia and Earl Spence, I'm just seeing way more guys who at one time was a champion. I know Rob Guerrero was a champion at one time. Lucas Matisse, he got a unanimous decision over Lucas Matisse. I know he was a champion at one time. And then when I look at Earl Smith's schedule, these last five fights here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lamont Peterson, Carlos Ocampo. I guess he was 22-0 at the time. He knocked him out. That's impressive. Mikey Garcia was 39-0. He whooped him by a unanimous decision. I would say it was pretty convincing. Then Sean Showtime Porter, he only had 2 losses at the time. He beat him by split decision. And then we got tonight Danny Garcia. I guess we can go far back as to Kell Brook, who was 36-1 at the time. When he got stopped. But then we go any further on Earl Spence's schedule. I mean, Leonard Bundy, he was 31-1 at the time. Chris Algieri was 21-2. I mean, Chris Algieri, nobody's running at the gym when Chris Algieri comes into the gym. Not to say he's not a nice guy, or even not to say he's not a good fighter. When you look at some of these guys that the Danny Garcia done fought, Eric Morales, no chump. He fought him twice. Unanimous decision the first time, and the next time he knocked him out. He fought Zab Judah at 42-7. Yeah, that's 49 fights at the time. That's up there. He had been around. Kendall Hope only had 31 fights at the time he fought him. And he beat him by split decision. A close fight. I didn't see it. He's got Nate Campbell on his record. He's got some decent fighters on his record when it comes down to fighters he's fought, experienced fighters he's fought against. Danny Garcia I'm speaking about right now. This may help him tonight. I mean, when you see experienced fighters like that, I mean, you tell yourself, what can Earl show me that I haven't seen already? I've been fighting other champions before. Maybe I'm looking at this thing the wrong way. Anybody want to call and correct me? You see the phone number at the bottom of the screen, 423-426-1221. You can call me in and give me your opinion on this matchup. This is the Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence Prefight Prediction show. You can call me. I'm going to be hanging out here for a little while. And then right about 6 o'clock, I'm shutting it down and I'm heading over to watch the fights. So for the next time you got something you want to say, you're more than welcome to call, and I'm listening. So another thing I'm thinking about too, as I was saying earlier, about the type of referee that's fighting, that's a judge in this fight. Jack Reese. I just saw him the other night. Jack Reese was the guy that allowed Tyson Fury to get up off the floor. He didn't allow him. I don't want to make it sound like that. He judged Tyson Fury was capable of going on after being devastatingly knocked down by a right hand or a left hook from Deontay Wilder. And, based on the judge's decision at the end of the fight being a draw, which I thought was totally incorrect, Jack Reed made the right decision to let him get up. And now I'm trying to figure out tonight what kind of fight we're going to have. I mean, if it's just an outside fight with no tying up, Jack Reese is not going to be any factor tonight. But if it's one of those rough Downing Brooks that we saw between Earl Spence and Sean Porter, he will be a factor tonight. And the question, I guess, I'm going to be, hey, is he going to be jumping every time these guys get close to each other? Or is he going to let them punch and work their way out on the inside, work their way out? That could be a difference in the fight. The call-in lines are open. I'm over in the Boxing Science Laboratories. I'm just rambling on here for the next few hours until it's almost time for the fight. So if you got something you want to call in and say, you're more than welcome to call in and say your prediction for the fight. Just 1 second, I'm going to step away. I'll be right back. I'm back. As you know, I'm Greg. I'm over in the Boxing Science Laboratory. We're trying to see if we can dissect some facts together so we can come to a knowledgeable prediction of tonight's fight between Danny Swift Garcia and Earl the True Spence Jr. That's why I'm here right now. I'm just kind of buying some time until the bout. And anybody who wants to offer a prediction, you're more than welcome to call in and talk to me. And I'm listening. I'm here for you. The number's on the screen. You can call in. Give me your thoughts. And we can tell the world what you think about tonight's matchup. I think it's going to be an explosion of a fight. High level competition, man. These ain't no chumps. These guys are not chumps. And I can't wait to see such high level competition fold out before my eyes tonight. Could Earl Spence pull some magic like he did against Kell Brook on Danny Garcia? They're probably kind of like similar in style, right? Kell Brook and Danny Garcia. At one time, Kell Brook, I thought was a top-notch fighter. Actually, when he fought against Triple G, I thought he was kind of holding his own early in the fight until he got an injury. And now Kell Brook's last performance against Terrence Crawford, I mean, come on, man. But that might be the end. That might be the end for Kell Brook. But Danny Garcia, he hadn't been dominated like that by anybody. Split decision loss to one guy, unanimous decision loss to the other guy, and they were just both like super close. That's why I'm looking at the judges here. what are they looking for tonight? You got kind of like a couple of kinds. Some judges are, as long as you're aggressive, you're throwing, you don't have to land a darn thing, we'll give it a round. Then you got some judges say, I know you're moving back because you're setting him up for a counterpunch. Even though he's not hit you, you land a hard counter shot to the face, you win the round. How do you judge fights? I don't go with the just because you're aggressive model, you win the round. And I see you announce he was aggressive, he was moving him back. Well, what if I'm moving you back to suck you in? That's a different aspect right there, or different thinking. And I hate to bring up, Floyd Mayweather or whatever. Probably one of the best counter punches you're ever going to find out there. And I don't know. I know Danny Garcia got those skills. He can counter punch. Does Earl Spence have those skills? Is Earl Spence defense good enough to avoid getting hit with the counter shot? There's so many questions to be answered here. Many questions to be answered. And as I said, as I scan both of these guys' record, I look at the opponents they fought. I'm kind of leaning toward Danny Garcia. Maybe you can say I was leaning toward Danny Garcia the whole time. But when I look at his level of competition of fighters he done fought, there ain't no question about it. Now, both of these guys can do a lot of stuff in the ring. Both of them. Talking about when I think about Earl Spence, I just think about his arsenal of punches and how when you try to guard one thing, he can take another. Meaning, hey, I'm trying to go with a high guard and stop stuff from hitting me in the face. Stop getting hit with face shots. He's going to the body. He's going to make you drop your hands. I don't know if you just saw this fight maybe about a month and a half ago. I want to say it was one of the Charlo brothers, and it was a guy named maybe Jason Rosario or something like that, where the Charlo brothers and he I think he had got knocked down already once or twice, but he was holding his own. And all of a sudden, Charlo hits him with a piercing jab to the gut, and he went down and couldn't get up. I mean, he was over there trying to catch his breath, like, like you ever thrown a football before and got the wind knocked out of it? Piercing shot. Devastating. And that's the type of body punching style that Earl Spence has. He zings that straight left hand down right to the middle. I mean, that's gotta hurt. And all you have to do is land it at the wrong place. Fight could be over. Yesterday, I heard an interview from a boxing trainer. I can't quote his name right now, but he mentioned something very interesting, or at least what I thought was interesting, about where is the kidneys. It's on the right side, and Earl Spence is a southpaw. He's going to have his right side, the kidney's going to be open. And if he throws such a right hook or something like that, any punch he throws with that lead right hand, that kidney's open. And he also mentioned, he throws a hook. Being a southpaw that he is, You throw your right hook to hit the kidney, and then throw a left hook behind that on the same spot, and bad things can happen. Now, I'm not no boxing expert by no means. I'm just a fan. Over here, gibbering and jabbering my way, buying some time to go see the fight tonight. That's all I'm doing. Just having fun. This is all just fun for me. And that's why I'm here. Starting the largest boxing community. And if you want to hang out with me and give me your prediction of the fight, the number's on the screen. You can call in. I'll be sitting here ready to answer your call. And I may have some questions for you. I may have some questions for you. So tell me, who you like tonight? Who do you like tonight? Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence. Down in Texas. Got a few fans in the building. So who do you like in this matchup tonight? I've been saying all the time, based on me looking at both of their records, and to me it's clear that Danny Garcia has had the more tougher opponents, the more experienced opponents. And I'm giving him the 51-49 edge in this bout. I say 51-49 because I could change my mind. I could change my mind. We also got some other upcoming fights coming up really soon here. We got Canelo Alvarez versus Callum Smith. That's on December 19th. We got Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Actually, that's next weekend, Saturday, December 12th. Then, of course, tonight we got Earl Spence versus Danny Garcia. 6 o'clock. And they're fighting in Texas. So they got three pre-fights. They start at 6 o'clock. I'm predicting they're going to probably be in the ring. They're fighting in Texas. That's 2 hours ahead of where I am. Wow, it's going to be late. They're not going to be getting in the ring tonight until around 10 o'clock. Yeah, by 10 o'clock they'll be getting to the ring. 6 o'clock Pacific. Well, 6 o'clock Pacific is 8 o'clock over there already. Yeah, about 10 o'clock. 2 fights, hour each. Yeah, about 10 o'clock they'll be getting into the ring. That'll be 8 o'clock my time, Pacific time. Right now, calling lines are open. I'm just kind of getting warmed up before the fight. Hanging out with a few buddies, about 3 or 4 of us getting together. We're all kind of chipping in a little bit. And if you want to call in and voice your opinion, 253-426-1221. I'm Greg over in the Boxing Science Laboratory, and right now I'm just kind of rambling on about this fight tonight. We've covered everything pretty much. So far, what I've covered so far, I've covered the purse. Earl Spence Jr. is making $8 million tonight, plus he's getting part of the gate. Danny Garcia is making $5 million tonight, and plus he's getting part of the gate. We've covered who is going to be the referee tonight. Jack Reese is going to be the referee. If you don't know Jack Reese is the guy who refereed the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder first bout. And when Tyson Fury got down, he was the guy who made the count, looked in his eyes, said, "Hey, it looked devastating, but you look strong, so go ahead on and finish the fight." And looking backwards, he made the right decision because the fight ended up being a draw. We've talked about who's going to be the referees in this bout tonight. The referees in this bout tonight are Larry Hazard Jr., Ray Damasco, and Steve Weisfield are going to be the guys who's going to be looking at the action and making the final decision tonight. We've talked about who's the trainer. Doug James, he's the trainer for Earl Spence Jr. And I can't think of Daddy Garcia's, but it's his dad, so Mr. Garcia, we'll call him just for this purposes. We've covered all those areas right there. We've covered what type of fight strategy. We're trying to figure out what type of fight strategy they're going to use. As you know, I think I've mentioned earlier, the reach goes to Earl Spence Jr. He has a reach of 72 inches. The height goes to Earl Spence Jr. He's 5'9.5", as opposed to Danny Garcia's height is 5'8", and Danny Garcia's reach is 68.5 inches. We've talked about that. We've talked about the experience in this fight, with Danny Garcia having a little more experience with 36 bouts, and Earl Spence Jr. has 26 bouts. We've talked about the age. Danny Garcia is 32 years old, and Earl Spence is 30 years old. We're talking about the fighting style. Earl Spence Jr., he's a southpaw, meaning he leads with his right foot. And Danny Garcia, he's an orthodox, meaning he leads with his left foot. We've talked about common opponents, not really, but only common opponent. Pretty much here is Sean Showtime Porter, in which Earl Spence beat Sean Showtime Porter by split decision, and Danny Garcia lost to Sean Porter by unanimous decision. We've covered that angle. We've covered the referee's refereeing angle. Is he going to allow inside fighting tonight? Or is he going to be the type, because in the Sean Porter versus Earl Spence, it was a lot of tying up, it was a lot of clinching, it was a lot of grabbing, there was a lot of holding, between both guys. I mean, the other guy was trying to slow the other guy down from hitting him, and he that's how it was. So now we're asking tonight, is it going to be that type? What is Jack Reese going to do about that? If Earl Spence, we know, a coming to you type of fighter, but is slipping and jabbing and throwing punches on his way in, get inside. I mean, did Danny Garcia got to tie him up? I mean, he has a shorter reach. Should he tie him up? If Earl Spence comes to Danny Garcia, is he falling into the wrong hands because the guy's got shorter arms? These are all questions. We talked about what is Derrick James telling Earl Spence. What's the boxing strategy for him tonight? Is the strategy stay on the outside, use your jab, stay on the outside. You got the reach advantage. You know, kind of like with Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia had the reach advantage on. It was hard for Mikey Garcia to get in there. You know, he won the fight as Mikey trying to get in there with the shorter arms. He was getting countered with body shots or stuff like that. So those are questions I'm asking. Can Earl fight just stand on the outside and fight? Okay, I got the reach advantage. No need for me to go in here and try to bully a counter puncher and get caught with something. Do Danny Garcia got to have the mindset? Man, my arms are shorter than his. I got shorter arms. I got to go to him. Just as I was saying earlier, this could possibly be two trains on the track going head on. Now, y'all guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't see no many times. Some a little bit. I'm talking about Earl Spence backing up, fighting back, going back. What if he gets in there with the shorter arm, Danny Garcia, and get caught with something, get rocked, and then decide he don't want to? Hey, hold, this is a bad idea. This going in here with this guy with outstanding counterpuncher skills is a bad idea. I need to stay on the outside. Could Earl Spence pull a fight off like that? I ask you those questions. Could he pull a fight off like that where I can't beat him on the inside? I need to stand outside. I got the reach. I got the reach advantage. You just heard me say it. I just said it just a few minutes ago. The reach. Earl Spence, 72 inches. Danny Garcia, reach, 68.5 inches. That's about 3 inches, man. Is 3 inches a long reach in boxing? Is 3 inches a long reach in boxing? That's the question. What do you think is going to happen here tonight? The call-in lines are open. I'm Greg from theboxingscience.com. The call-in line for this pre-fight prediction show is 253-426-1221. As of this moment, looking over all the numbers, looking at the experience, looking at the referee. I mean, the referee could be a factor in this thing. Is he going to allow him to fight on the inside if Danny Garcia decides I can't win on the outside, my reach is a disadvantage to me, I got to go to him, pull a Sean Porter, I got to go to him and make this thing ugly. Is Jack Reese going to be the type of referee that's going to let these guys bang on the inside? That's a question for you. I personally think Jack Reese is a fine referee. I think his priorities are straight when he's in the ring. That, hey, I'm looking out for the fighter first, and I know everybody wants to come in here and win, but if I see you hurt, I got to do what's right because I got to sleep at night. I got to sleep at nighttime. Ain't no way Jack Reese I'm talking about going to say, hey, I know you're tough, I know you can take it, but and that's why I'm gonna let it go. No. If you see you getting your head rocked, He's going to step in there and he's going to save you. You know, in boxing, you don't know what the next punch could do to you. So when it comes down to these referees, on some occasions, probably in most occasions, I'm on the side of referee, on the side of caution. If I see a guy getting hit with 4 or 5 clean, hard shots to the head, man, I want the referee to jump in there, stop the damn thing, and you live another day. Now, I don't know. I don't want to get off topic. Stay on point. And we're talking about Danny Garcia, and we're talking about Earl Spence Jr., and we're talking about Jack Reese being the referee, and we're talking about, or I'm talking about, how is he going to referee this fight tonight? Is he going to let him fight on the inside if it has to be? I mean, we don't need him if they both decide to stand outside. We don't need Jack Reese tonight. And then another angle. We hope we see a lot of Jack Reese, because that means they're getting in there, tying it up and balling. I hope to see a lot of Jack Reese tonight, getting in there and say, break it up. Your hands are free. I mean, I guess that could be the other way to look at it, right? If Jack Reese is working, if he's sweating tonight, that means these two guys are getting in there in the mix. They put their paws on each other. And as you can see in my photo right there, I think this fight will be an explosion, like a rocket ship going out of space, going to the International Space Station. And we got all kinds of predictions. I don't know. Maybe I should bring some predictions up and see if I can find some predictions for us here. Let's see if we can find us a few predictions for this fight tonight, because from some YouTube fans or something. Predictions. But yeah, if you want to call in, you see the number on the bottom of the screen. You want to offer your prediction for tonight's top-notch welterweight battle between Earl Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia. I think I've pretty much covered kind of all the angles on this fight. I've mentioned that on height-wise, Earl Spence has Danny Garcia. He's 5'9.5", Earl Spence, and Danny Garcia is a clean 5'8". And we've covered their reach. Earl Spence has a 3.5 reach advantage. He's 72 inches, and Danny Garcia is 68.5 inches on the reach category. And we've just been talking about the trainer tonight, Jack Reese, and how's he going to officiate this fight tonight. And I'm saying if we see a lot of Jack Reese, that means that these guys are getting in there and they are putting paws on each other. And then it could be mean also too that they're doing a lot of holding and tying up when they're on the inside. But yeah. Why is my thumbnail not showing that? My thumbnail. Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking about this bout, and I'm thinking about it really hard. And I don't know, man. I'm just looking so forward to this type of competition. This is why I say boxing is not dead. Because this type of high level competition, man, you don't get every day, man. You don't. This ain't something that happens all the time. Where you get this type of high level competition, it should happen more often. It definitely should happen a lot more often than it happens. But if you had a top notch fight every freaking weekend, man, you know, it's impossible. Because this is prize fighting. This is a business. This is a business, man. And you're supposed to fight to get the most amount of money you can. That's my boxing philosophy. Get as much amount of money as you can. That's why I really kind of admire guys like Andre Ward in the sense that he came in, made his money, got the game. Made his money, got the game. And that's what I can appreciate about that. And you're supposed to fight to get the most amount of money as you can. That's my boxing philosophy. Get as much amount of money as you can. That's why I really kind of. Yeah. I ain't gonna say Andre Ward was one of my favorite fighters of all time. But everybody who got in the ring there with him, he whooped him. And that's all you can say about that. So anybody who wants to call in, the call-in lines are open. I'm taking calls from right now until just before fight time. 253-426-1221. You can call in, talk to me, the boxing doctor. The lines are open. I'm just going to sit here and just ramble on about all angles of this bout. And I'm going to keep going back over what I talked about until somebody calls in. So I'm waiting. Excuse me. I'm waiting on a call in from somebody. When you call in, I might have a question to ask you. Any fans from Texas that knows about Earl Spence Jr. that wants to call in and support Earl Spence Jr. Any fans from Philadelphia that wants to call in and support Danny Garcia. Who's going to win this fight tonight? At this very moment, let's look at what the very moment means. At 4:24 p.m. Pacific time on December the 5th, at this very moment, I'm going with Danny Garcia by Slim. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. It's just all about I want to say uh, about them fighting their fight, but what's their fight? I mean, Danny Garcia lost to Showtime Sean Porter because Sean Porter was ferocious in there. Fought with such a high amount of intensity that it swayed the judge's decisions. Even though he may not have been landing the cleaner punches or even landing at all. It looked like he wanted to fight. That he was there to fight. When you see a guy like that scrapping, like I'm talking about Sean Porter, you see somebody scrapping and fighting and throwing and even if it's landing in your shoulder, that's effective aggression to me. If I'm throwing punches at you, they might not be landing scoring punches on your in the chin area or in the scoring area, but they're hitting you on your shoulder and hitting you on your, side of your head and all kind of stuff like that. That's what I call effective aggression. And so what I'm trying to dissect here, I'm looking at these two guys' knockout percentage. Sean Earl Spence, he got a knockout percentage of 80%. I mean, of course, he's going to have that because he's got less fight, but their knockouts are the same amount. Both fighters has 21 knockouts. But for me, why I'm just giving a slight lean, why I'm leaning toward Danny Garcia, it's fighting experience, man. Slightly, man. This is like, for me, 51-49. That's what's going on in my mind right now. 51-49, man. That's how close. I mean, I don't know why it's that close, though. Because when I look at that both experience of the fighters they done fought, Danny Garcia done fought way more experienced fighters. Look at some of the fighters on Danny Garcia's schedule. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and here that sound like I'm making a case for Danny Garcia, man. I mean, Eric Morales is not a chump. Zab Judah, not a chump. Amir Khan, at the time, only had 2 losses, not a chump. He knocked out Amir Khan. I know you can say, who hasn't knocked out Amir Khan? We could say that. Kendall Holt only had 4 losses at the time. No chump. And that's kind of where my angle is at for Danny Garcia. Boxing experience, fighters he done fought, experienced fighters, stuff that he's going to learn more from. Lucas Matisse was only 34-2. He got him by unanimous decision. He's not a chump. You remember Lucas Matisse at one time was, I ain't going to say talked about as no pound for pound or nothing like that, but there was not a line of people at one time calling out Lucas Matisse. That was not a line of, that was not. And he got a unanimous decision. And of course, at the time he fought Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson was 33-2. He got a majority decision on him. I mean, that's a tight fight, but Lamont Peterson's a good fighter. Good fighter, man. I think Earl Spence got a contest against Lamont Peterson. At the time, no, let's see, Lamont Peterson was 35-3 at the time. And Earl Spence got the win. I don't know if he just couldn't show up, come out for one round, they stopped the fight or whatever. But Earl Spence got the win. At the time, Lamont Peterson was 35-3. And when he fought Danny Garcia, he was 33-2. So that means between the fights, he had a couple of wins and a loss. Even Danny Garcia fought Paulie Malignaggi. Now, we know about Paulie Malignaggi. Decent fighter. Take care of him. Either the referee stopped it. I don't recall seeing that one. I mean, that's where I'm leaning toward Danny Garcia, man. 51-49, Danny Garcia. Percentage-wise, I'm talking about. Now, remember when I say what I'm about to say. I am just a fan. I'm not a boxing expert. I never been into boxing. I never fought. I done put boxing gloves on before, but that's about as far as I can say. But I've been watching boxing for years, man. And everybody remember back in the old days, in the 80s, when they had to have it Tuesday night fights on USA Network. I always called it Blue Horizon or some type of hotel or something. Great bouts in that thing, man. So in this bout tonight, we've discussed it all. We know who the judges are. Let's go back and do a little recap on this stuff. We've talked about earlier tonight. We've talked about the judges, Jack Reese being the judge tonight. We talked about who are the referees tonight in tonight's bout. We have Ray Danesco. Ray Danesco is one of our referees tonight. Larry has a junior, one of our referees tonight. And of course we got Steve Weisfield, one of our referees tonight, along with Jack Reese. They are going to be the officials determining this fight tonight. And as of this moment, I am giving this edge here to Danny Garcia. And personally, I mean, I might be crazy. I might be crazy. You know, I might be crazy. I might be crazy. You know, I've been known to say some crazy stuff. I say crazy stuff all the time. But I might be crazy about what I'm about to say here. I might be crazy about what I'm about to say here. Because everybody's out there listening. Everybody's out there listening. But I would not be surprised if Danny Garcia wins this bout by knockout. Man, I'm reaching out there, huh? Woo! Let me say this again. I may not be surprised if Danny Garcia wins this thing by knockout in maybe some type of spectacular fashion. We got a lot of unknowns about Earl Spence. You know, his toughest opponents have been probably his last 5 fights. Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Carlos Ocampo, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter. Those are his last 5 matchups. Those might be his toughest opponents. Chris Algier, you could probably put him on the list maybe. But Phil LaGreco, can you put him on the list? He was 26-1 at the time. What about Leonard Mundy? Can you put him on the list? At 33-1. We got Ronald Cruz. That's the only name sounds familiar. So let's look at that Earl Spence's schedule and who he's fought, man. Do we know any of these guys? Huh? I mean, he did fight Sean Porter. Him and Sean Porter and Danny Garcia is kind of a mutual opponent that's of high level talent. Lamont Peterson, I would say, we talked about him earlier. But I'm not promoting this or anything like that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised because it's something about Danny Garcia for me. I just like the way he fights. I just feel like if he lands that shot, he can get you out of there. And I guess the fight that kind of really impressed me mostly about Danny Garcia is the knockout over Adrian Granados. Yeah, of course, at the time, Adrian Granados was 20-6. Probably had never been knocked out. At least that's what the announcers had said that night. And if you see the devastation, the way he took him out, I mean, a guy that never been knocked out. I mean, he's not that Brandon Rios. Brandon Rios is a tough fighter. So that kind of just tells me right there that Danny Garcia They've been in there with some really, really, really tough opponents. And that may be his edge tonight against Earl Spence Jr. That may be his edge. And do we know? Do we really, really know if Earl Spence is all the way back from the car wreck? Do we know? Do we think that'll show up tonight? Because you know, I'm questioning that. Anybody wants to call in, make a prediction on this thing tonight? Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, welterweight clash tonight. The number's on the screen. It's 253-426-1221. Not about me, about you. So if you got something you want to add, you got something you want to say, call in. And I'm here to maybe ask you a question. You ask me a question. We talk about the fight. You give me your opinion. And we go on from there. To hopefully watch a star-studded event tonight. Of something that could be a memorable night in boxing history. Something that could be a memorable night. You know what? When I was a kid, why I got started kind of in boxing, one of the greatest knockouts I've ever seen was the night when I saw Mike Weaver took out John Tate in the 15th round. I can't even remember the punch, but John Tate is still asleep right now. And after that fight, I became a boxing fan. And I had to be in morning, baby, maybe like 9 or 10 years old. Before cable TV and all that. And after that, I just kind of became a fan. Of course, you know, during that time growing up as a kid, Muhammad Ali and all that type of stuff during the 70s. But now I just love the sport. And ever since they've been doing the pay-per-views and stuff starting, I've been, going to people's houses, watching fights, inviting people over to my house to watch fights and all kind of stuff like that. I can't see, I've seen them all, but I've seen a lot. I've probably seen over 1,000 boxing matches in my life. And I just get excited when I see high-level competition, getting in the ring, putting their chins on the line for a great payday. A great payday, man. Earl Spence said, hey, buy the stuff so we can get him a new crib. You can get any crib you want with $8 million. Plus part of the gate. Oh, man. New crib is coming for Earl Spence. Down there in Texas, too. I hear everything is reasonably cost. Go down and get him a dang on 8-bedroom, man. All the kids had their own room. So I'm wishing him good luck. I hope nobody gets hurt tonight. Hope everybody get home safe and get back to their families. But I do want to see some high-level competition tonight. I'm expecting it. I think we also mentioned earlier on this fight, we was talking about some of the other fights on the card. Let's see if we can do a recap on that. Other fights on the card. We have a super welterweight sensation. Let's look at the details here. We got Sebastian Fundora fighting against Habib Ahmed. That's our pre-main event, right before the main event. Fundora 15-0. Ahmed 27-1-1. They're going to be fighting our pre-main event. We have, of course, we got Riverside Rocky, they call him, Josecito Lopez fighting against Francisco Santana. Lopez is 37-8, and Santana is 25-8-1. That's the fight before the Ahmed and Fundura fight. And our opening bout, after all the prelims, is going to be between Eduardo Ramirez against Miguel Flores. That's our card for tonight, everybody. So I hope you guys are there to watch it all. I'm going to be there. I'm going over to a friend's house tonight. We're going to be watching the fight. In a little small group of us. It's probably about 3 or 4 of us that are watching the fight. We'll all have our mask on. I'll have my mask on. I'm not playing around with this coronavirus stuff. And I'm looking and hoping that we're going to have a highly competitive fight tonight. I think we will. I think we're going to have one. And so I am looking forward to getting there tonight and just, enjoying this thing, man. I love this sport. I love the high level competition. I say all the time that boxing to me is the hardest sport of all. And the reason why I say that because when you finish boxing, you can't go out there and you're usually fighting at 140 pounds or something. You can't go out and go to 175 pounds, man. You got to be doing a little bit of training or something. The best and the best are fighting tonight. That's what it's all about. So this bout tonight is being held by PBC Boxing. I guess that's one of like Floyd Mayweather kind of works with those guys. I'm not sure if he is associated with Earl Spence in any type of contractual way. I don't know about that. But I do know these guys are the best of the best in there. I think I heard Keith Thurman saying that he wanted to get in line for the winner. I mean, that's credible. That's credible. Keith Thurman. He's been away for a little while. I think he's got like a bad shoulder or something like that. He's been away. That's credible. Where does Sean Porter fit into this thing, man? I think he only has like 2 losses or something. He fought Keith Thurman, right? Yeah. Came up short. Would it be Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia next? What you guys think about that? So I don't know what to say about this matchup. I've gave you all my thoughts. If you got an opinion, you want to call in, the call-in lines are open. I'm just sitting around here waiting until fight time, rambling on about what I think is going to happen. I think I've pretty much covered all angles. I've covered Mother Nature's angle and the fact that Earl Spence has a inch and a half of height advantage over Danny Garcia. Earl Spence being 5'9.5", and Danny Garcia being an even 5'8". They're both in the welterweight division. We both know that. One is a southpaw. The other is conventional. Earl Spence is a southpaw. That means he leads with his right front. Danny Garcia is a orthodox. That means he leads with his left foot. He leads with his left foot. We talk about that reach advantage for Earl Spence, man. And how is this going to affect the fight? Earl Spence has a reach advantage of 72 inches. His reach is 72 inches. And Danny Garcia reach is 68.5. I calculate that with 3.5 inch reach advantage. 3.5 inches. Is that a lot? I mean, huh? I mean, probably some boxing expert, which I'm not, probably say 3.5 inches is like a mile. If that be the case, Earl Spence has an advantage if they're fighting on the outside, right? But can Earl do that? Can Earl just sit out on the outside with the 3.5 inch reach advantage and just pick Danny Garcia apart. He definitely did a good job when he fought against Mikey Garcia, or that very same thing. And Mikey Garcia couldn't get inside. And that was the difference in the fight. I don't know if I don't know if the judges even gave Mikey Garcia a round. Can Earl Spence pull off another performance like that? What was Mikey Garcia missing that Danny Garcia has as far as being able to stop Earl Spence from attacking him at long range, tearing his body apart, breaking him down, and then later on in the fight, knocking Danny Garcia out? What is stopping Danny Garcia? What does Danny Garcia got, or has, or can do that Mikey Garcia couldn't do to prevent the same thing from happening? What can Danny Garcia do? What does he have? He's at a disadvantage at reach. So was Mikey Garcia. Was a disadvantage at reach. And Earl Spence chopped him up like a salad. And at what time in this fight? Here's the question I'm thinking about. At what time in this fight will we know who has the advantage over the other? I want to go back to a fight we just saw a couple of weeks ago with Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Davis. From the onset, we knew Gervonta Davis had a strategy to throw the uppercut. I mean, in the first round of the fight, he threw 5 uppercuts. Now, I'm not a fighter. I'm not a professional. I'm just a fan. And I'm just thinking to myself, what could, I'm talking about Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz have done to say, I know he's throwing this uppercut. How is there a way I can set this uppercut up where he'll throw it, miss me, boom, I get him, boom. Couldn't make an adjustment. Couldn't make an adjustment to get away from the uppercut. And from the first round, the uppercut was being thrown by Gervonta Davis, and it ended up being the winning shot in the 6th round. Now, does Danny Garcia, this is the same thing with Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence Jr. Same type of situation, kind of. And with Earl Spence was with a vicious body attack against Mikey Garcia. And when Mikey Garcia would try to come inside, he'd pierce him with a body shot to kind of hold him away. And then Mikey Garcia didn't have no game plan too. Now what about Danny Garcia? Does Danny Garcia got a game plan too? What do you think? Is there a game plan too? I'm not a trainer. I'm just a fan. And my question to you is, when you're a trainer, you're sitting down with your fighter, and you guys say, hey, put the tape on Earl Spence Jr. and let's take a look and see what weakness we can find. I mean, do they do that these days? I don't know. They maybe not even do that anymore these days. Obviously, going back to Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta Davis had a dang strategy from the onset. I don't know how that came about. Was that just in his arsenal? Is he that good? That's just in my arsenal that whatever I see, I got the punching ability to create a shot for it. If I need to throw the left hook this night, I can throw the left hook. If I need to throw the right straight hand to the body to make a difference, I can throw the straight right hand to the body. If I need to shoot the jab tonight, I can shoot the jab. Are there fighters like that has that type of skill? Who has that type of firepower? I'm bringing this thing up because if that's not the case, if fighters don't have that type of ability to, well, hey, I can adjust to anything, and I got every type of punch in my boxing arsenal. If fighters can't think like that, then obviously, in case of Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, they sit down with Gervonta and say, Gervonta, he holds his hands up high, he leans over his front foot, the uppercut will be the perfect shot for a guy like that. And this is what we're going to work on in the gym. Does it go down like that? Now, the question is tonight, does anybody, one of these two fighters, got a plan B? Or does the other guy, anybody got a plan C? You know, I'm trying to go to his body, but every time I shoot the straight hand to the body, I get caught with a right hook. Okay, I can't do that. Okay, every time I try to double jab, maybe I need to double jab and then go to the body. I can get him off balance with the jab, then go to the body, and I can land it clean. Is the fighter who get caught with the right hook the first time got the mentality to say, okay, I can't just go in there and throw the straight hook. I'm getting caught with the right hook, shoot the jab 2 times, then throw the right hook. And the guy who's on the other side says, oh, damn, he's not just coming in with a straight right hand now. He's shooting 2 jabs and then throwing the right hook. Is the guy that's doing on the other side saying, okay, I know he's going to shoot the jab. I need to block the first one, slip the second one because I know he's coming with the right hand, then throw the left hook to switch it up. Is that type of level of thinking going on in boxing? And this is the prediction show. This is the Prefight Prediction show between Danny Garcia versus Earl Spence. I'm the boxing doctor. I'm just standing around here rambling about this bout tonight. I'm trying to convince myself. I've kind of somewhat made my prediction tonight. Somewhat made my prediction. I guess my prediction is a slight edge, 51%, 49%, Danny Garcia. I'm basing it on his experience and record and punching power. And I even made some outlandish statement. Now think, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. I'm not a boxing expert. That it's very possible that Danny Garcia could knock out Earl Spence Jr. I know. The guy's crazy. Losing his mind. Yeah. I'm looking at this thing. I'm matching this thing up. I'm seeing that Earl Spence does have some advantages in Mother Nature. He's a little bit taller, 5'9.5" to 5'8". Has a reach advantage, 72 inches to 68.5. He has little age advantage if it really matters. 30 years old for Earl Spence, 32 years old for Danny Garcia. But when I look at other areas, as far as boxing opponents, boxing experience, for example, Earl Spence fought 120 rounds, 26 bouts, 120 rounds. Danny Garcia, 38 bouts, 258 rounds. Twice the time in the ring, Danny Garcia is Earl Spence. So as of this very moment, looking at both fighters' experience, looking at who they lost to, Earl Spence, of course, is not lost. Danny Garcia got 2 losses, but he didn't lose to chumps. He didn't lose to any chumps. Both of the fighters he lost to were top-notch champions at one time. And so when I look at this matchup, I kind of conclude that Danny Garcia, of course, got the experience age, lacking in the side of Mother Nature, a counter puncher, maybe an edge with punching power, goes to Danny Garcia. Hold one. So, yep, we are talking about, and I'm talking about, waiting on the call in. Be the first one to call, 253-426-1221. Call-in lines are open. And I am waiting on someone to call in, but in the meanwhile, I am just rambling on here until it's time for me to go to fight. I probably got about an hour left before fight time, before I get ready to head out. Anybody who wants to come into the Boxing Science Laboratory and comment on this bout are more than welcome to. I may have a question or two to ask you about this bout tonight. Anybody from Texas who knows Earl Spence Jr. wants to come in, more than welcome to come in and comment. I'm Greg, the Boxing Doctor, and I'm over at theboxingscience.com, where I talk boxing business and boxing strategy. And so far, tonight, we've covered all kinds of stuff. We've covered the referees. We've covered the trainer. We've covered all kinds of angles on this fight. We've talked about the other fights on the card tonight. And I welcome you if you want to call in and post your comments. The call-in number is 253-426-1221. The call-in lines are open. I'm Greg from BoxingScience.com, and I'm here to talk to you about tonight's outstanding, highly competitive competition tonight between Danny Garcia. This is a pre-fight prediction. So if you got a prediction on the fight, you can call in. We don't need to ramble. Just call in, give your prediction, and I will take note of it. Yes, I will. So all are welcome. Please talk English. And yeah, we are ready to go, man. I'm ready to go and watch a great fight. Yeah, and so if you have an opinion on this bout, and I'm just rambling on, don't pay me any mind. I'm listening to, I look for anyone who wants to call in and post their opinion about this matter tonight. What you think? I don't know if you've heard my prediction so far. As of this moment, at 5:02 p.m. Pacific time, I have Danny Garcia winning this thing tonight. I'm going by Danny Garcia. I'm going with Danny Garcia primarily based on his experience and his level of competition than the other fighters in the fought. And I'm only seeing really top-notch opponents on Earl Spence Jr.'s schedule for his last 5 fights. And so that's my angle, man. That's what I'm thinking. Yep. So you can call in. You can give me your thoughts on this batter. But when I say Danny Garcia winning, though, I'm talking like 51-49% edge, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about, hey, he's surely going to go in there and win and take Earl Spence Jr. out like a chump. No. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm thinking this is going to be a highly competitive fight tonight. I just don't know, though, if it's going to have the real same intensity that I saw between Sean Porter and Earl Spence. I mean, intensity out this world, you know what I mean? But is Sean Porter known for having a devastating punching power? I think this thing is mainly for outworking the guy, being rough and tumble, and winning by decision. I may have to look up Sean Porter's schedule and see how many knockouts he has. But I tell you what, though, he's going to make you work to keep him on for you. And I don't know if Danny Garcia fights with that type of style. But then I'm saying, does he have to fight with that type of style? Is Earl Spence actually going to be a guy that's standing out on the edge? Just sticking with the jab. Is he going to be doing that? I mean, it's a lot of questions to be answered in this bout. We talked about that. We talked about what type of fighter it's going to be. I don't see Earl Spence Jr. as being the type of guy that's going to stand out on the edge with the long jab like Tommy Hearns or something, and then, peck away at you. I see him being more as an aggressive fighter, coming to you, slipping and sliding, making you miss. But in the meanwhile, coming with a body attack that's incredible. But to me, though, to throw a body punch, that's risky, right? That's risky. And so that's where could possibly be Danny Garcia's advantage. Earl Spence's tenacity, could it be used against him? I'm coming in, I know I got a fierce body attack. I know it's been proven. But has he fought against a counter puncher like Danny Garcia that could make you pay? You want to play? You're going to pay. And that's the question I'm wondering about. What kind of fight will this be? Earl Spence has the reach advantage, but can he stay on the outside? Danny Garcia has the counter punching advantage. Can he go ahead? Can he attack? Those are the questions that are being asked up here. Those are the questions being asked tonight. And as of this right moment, right now, let's look at the time again. 5:07 p.m. As of 5:07 p.m., I just kind of gave this edge to Danny Garcia. 51%, 49%, Danny Garcia. And with that in mind, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I guess right now it's 5:07 p.m. I can kind of do a recap of what we've talked about today. As of this moment, I'm going with Danny Swift Garcia. I did make an outlandish, crazy statement earlier. I may repeat it before the show is over. But as of this moment, right now, I'm basing this on experience, level of opponent, I'm giving those edges to Danny Garcia. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning on this thing. Am I doing this with surety? Am I for sure about this? Thoughts and thinking? Probably not. Because we're talking about two high level opponents, man. High level opponents, and I just don't know how to call it. Anybody know if does the Earl Spence got one punch knockout power? Or is his strategy pretty much just beat you down, and then you just say, look, my legs is gone, I can't defend myself, and then Jack Reese got to run in there and stop Danny Garcia from being demolished. Is that what we're going to see tonight? A masterpiece by Earl Spence Jr. Working up and down. Southpaw, using that southpaw jab. Getting Danny Garcia off balance. Throwing straight hard body shots. Breaking Danny Garcia down late. And about the 10th, 11th, 12th round, Jack Reese got to jump in there and say, Danny, you done took enough, son. I got to protect you. I got to sleep at nighttime. And I'm stopping this thing. Could something like that happen tonight? Or could this be the night Earl Spence gets exposed? Coming in with ferocity, fierce punching. Trying to go to Danny Garcia's body. And Danny lands the shot, rocks him, and take him out. Because there's no doubt about Danny Garcia being able to take out an opponent. If you look at this last fight before here, Adrian Granados, yeah. I mean, you can say, hey, you hyping up Adrian Granados? Hey, the guy had never been knocked out. And Danny Garcia went in there and done it. Because you say, oh, hey, Leo Santa Cruz had never been, what? Yeah. This is the first time anything could happen. But I tell you about me. I love high level competition. What they're making tonight with a site where, in this instance where it's not a packed stadium, a lot of the money is going to be made from pay-per-view. $8 million for Earl Spence Jr. plus part of the gate, depending on plus part of pay-per-view. I mean, Danny Garcia $5 million plus part of pay-per-view, and I'm okay with that. You know, you get some fighters out there, man, they want to go get a title shot. They want the money to be 50-50, man. You're not even a champ. You're not even a champ. And you want 50-50. But I see right here, Danny Garcia is serious about his business. You give me $5 million, a part of the gate too, and a shot to win 2 belts tonight? But this is what I'm proposing right now. I'm proposing this right now. They should put up a pot for the winner, a winner pot. A winner's pot. That's what they should do. Part of the gate, go into a winner's pot. And the winner get this much money. So, I mean, if it's 2 champions fighting, let's say Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, they fighting, we give each one of y'all $10 million, and the winner's pot will be one guy will get 60% of the gate, and the other guy will get 40%. You know, minus, you know. Yeah. Or we'll take $1 million or $2 million and put it in the winner's pot, and the winner get that. I'm gonna see if I can propose that to one of these boxing promoters one of these times. Winner's pot. So yeah, I've been here rambling on here for about 2 hours and 38 minutes. I've been rambling. Haven't been talking about nothing. But I did do an overview of the fight. Let's do another overview real quick of what we talked about. We talked about the announcers being tonight. That being the announcers for tonight's bout, the referees, the judges, all Americans, Ray Donesco, he's Judge 1. We got Larry Hazard Jr., he's going to be a judge tonight. And we got Steve Weisfeld, he's the judge tonight. And, of course, we know we have, as our referee, Jack Reese. Jack Reese is the one who's going to be calling in the ring tonight. And I keep on asking this question. I did ask this question. If Jack Reese is working, that means they're in there fighting. If Jack Reese is not working, then I believe if they're going to be fighting on the inside, like Sean Porter and Earl Spence were, it was a lot of holding and tying up, and the referee was in there breaking them all the time. It might be that same way for tonight's fight. But then against Sean Porter, I saw Earl Spence having to tie up a few times. So, man, I tell you, I am up in the air on this one still. I've laid my edges out. I guess I'm not up in the air anymore because I've said I believe Danny Garcia will win. He will pull an upset tonight based on his experience and the type of opponents he's fought. And, you know, he's fought some really tough guys. And looking at Earl Spence Jr.'s opponents, his last 5 fights have been his toughest ones. And, you know, Kell Brook has been one. Sean Porter has been one. And when I look at it, he don't seem to have the level of competition that Danny Garcia has. And so I have to think that, is Earl Spence going to be able to bring anything into the ring that Danny Garcia hasn't seen? And I hope that, you know, I think like this. If I'm a boxer, I go into a fight, a guy doing something I ain't never seen, you know what I mean? When I go back to train, I'm going to figure out a way how to counter whatever he did. So if you've seen everything, you should be able to figure out a counter for everything, right? So he goes into this fight tonight. You can't bring anything in here that I don't know how to counter, because I've seen everything. I know high level thinking, but I think that's how you have to be. I also talked about, the boxing IQ of a fighter. Does every fighter have in his arsenal the ability to come in there and adjust and say, hey, he holding his hands high, you know what I mean? I need to be able to come up with something to hit the body and make him drop his hands. I need to have every punch in my arsenal, because the night he got his hands high, I got to be able to throw the uppercut. He got his hands low, I got to be able to jab to the body and throw the overhand right. To keep his hands down, throw the overhand right to the top, with the left foot come behind it. I know that's high level thinking. I know it's high level thinking. But this might be the night where you have to think on the third level instead of just going in there saying, I'm doing what I'm doing. Third level being, hey, I'm going out here and shoot this jab. I shoot the jab, he shoots the overhand over the jab, or the counter, and counter my jab. Now I'm moving to the next level. I know now he's going to throw this when I shoot my jab, so maybe I need to fake that jab and then throw it. And when he counter, then throw my jab. It ain't just about thinking about what you think. You got to be thinking about what he's thinking. Then when you get to the next level, you got to be thinking what he's thinking, I'm thinking. That's deep. And so based on all the analysis I've done and I don't know what the judge's situation going to be about. I can't really give you so much insight on those judges right there to say Weisfield likes fighters that come straight ahead, and Hazard Jr. likes fighters that counterpunch, and then Danasco, he likes just clean, effective punching. I can't really analyze all those referees in that way. It's kind of hard to analyze how the referee is going to act tonight. Jack Reese, we don't know if Jack got the mentality, I'm going to keep the fighters apart as much as I possibly, and as soon as they clinch, I'm going to break them up. Or is he going to be the type that says, fight in there, your hands are free? You would think, if that be the case, fight in there, your hands are free, that'll be a little bit of an edge to Danny Garcia since he's got the shorter reach. But on the opposite end, Earl Spence likes to fight on the inside. He's tough. He just fought Sean Porter to a split decision. And the last call was way much in his favor, 116, 112, in favor of Earl Spence. So far, Earl Spence is as tough as you can get. And we're right now looking at all angles of this fight. We're looking at the referee. We're looking at the fighters. We're looking at Mother Nature. We're looking at the judges. Another thing I'm wondering about, the size of the ring. I mean, these are small guys. So, I guess the size of the ring doesn't really matter. Unless you're a fighter that like to dance around and move around. But I don't sense that from neither one of these guys. It's going to be a lot of dancing around the ring, moving and stuff. I don't sense that. The call-in lines are open. If you want to make a prediction on tonight's fight, 253-426-1221. The call-in lines are open. You can call me, and I'll take your prediction. I'm not going to be on here much longer. I'm going to be in this stream here in about 20 more minutes. And so, right now, at this very moment, I just got to give the edge to Danny Garcia. Now, I laid out my reasons behind it. Danny Garcia does have a disadvantage in Mother Nature's area, where he's not the tallest. He doesn't have the reach advantage. But I'm not really knowledgeable enough on boxing to know, do he need the reach advantage to be the better fighter? Do you have to be the taller guy to be the better fighter? And those are some questions I wonder. And tonight, can being a taller fighter be at your disadvantage because the other guy is lower, can get to your body or something like that? What you guys think about that? And the trainers. We talked about what kind of strategy tonight. If you're the trainer for Earl Spence Jr., what kind of strategy are you telling him to do? Hey, go straight ahead, man. Just keep doing your thing. Keep working up and down to the body, to the head, whatever. Is anybody saying to him, hey, if something happens when you go to the body and you get counter shot, then what? Moving to the next level of thinking. Well, I got caught with the right hand on when I tried to shoot the straight left hand. Okay, maybe no. Shoot the jab first or something to that effect. The Boxing Science. I'm Greg over here. The Boxing Science, the Boxing Doctor over at theboxingscience.com is 253-426-1221. If you got a prediction for tonight's fight, call in. I'm taking calls right now for another about 15 minutes. And I'm going to be taking your prediction. I'm going to be leaving here about 6 o'clock, going over to head to the fight. Me and a few of the guys getting together. We're going to chip in on this fight. And hopefully, I wonder what the cost of the fight is. What's the cost of this fight tonight? Seems like I seen somewhere where it said $49 or something. Yep, $74.95. And it's going to be around 11:30 tonight. And those guys are going to be getting in the ring. Man, that's late, man. That is really, really late. 11:30 tonight, they're going to be getting in the ring. Oh, that might be 11:30 East Coast time. They're in Texas. That's going to be about 10:30 Texas time from where I'm at. 9:30, I'm over here in the West Coast in Washington. And they're going to be getting in the ring about 9 o'clock. So, yeah, 3 good cards, 3 good fights. I think I've pretty much covered all angles on this thing now. Anybody wants to call in and offer a prediction, click on the phone numbers at the bottom of the screen, 253-426-1221. I'm Greg the Boxing Doctor over at the Boxing Science, And right now, I'm just rambling, talking about the fight, trying to cover all the angles, trying to predict what kind of fight we're going to have. I've made some outlandish comments today that's just, I probably get sent to a mental ward if some real boxing fan said, God, it must be crazy to say something crazy like that. But what I said was, I would not be surprised if Danny Garcia knocks out Earl Spence Jr. I mean, I know I'm crazy. It's crazy. He's got the punching power to do it. He's got the counter punching skills to do it. And I gave Danny Garcia the edge on this fight because of his level of opponents, his experience. He's fought some top-notch fighters that were top-notch at their time. Maybe they weren't at the top of that game when he fought them, but he did. And most of them he beat. Only ones he lost to was Keith Thurman by split decision, and he lost to Showtime Sean Porter by unanimous decision. Neither one of those guys are nothing to sniff at. And so, when it comes down to it, then remember, I'm just a fan. I'm just here rambling and rambling, talking about this upcoming event tonight. I can't wait to get there. And yeah, I'm gonna go get me a couple of cold brewskis, go watch the fight, have a good time, and maybe after the fight, you guys come here. And I may, no, not the fight. It'll be tomorrow morning probably. Yeah, tomorrow morning I'll come back, and if you guys want to live stream and do a recap of the fight, I'll be happy to be here to hang with you. But yeah, so far we've covered everything, every angle. We've covered Mother Nature. We've covered the referees. We've covered the judges. We've covered how much money they're going to make tonight. We've covered everything. We've even talked a little bit about the referee. I mean the trainers, being Derek James for Earl Spence and Danny Garcia. His dad is his trainer, and I can't wait. I just love when there's a night of higher level competition on the line. It does it for me. I love sports in itself. Last, I hope these guys get their money and invest it in something wisely. Because boxing, you're going to be out of boxing a whole lot longer than you're going to be in it. And $5 million and $8 million respectively, that is a lot of money. Probably after all their expenses and taxes and everybody that pays out, Danny Garcia probably walk away with $3 million, and not counting the gate. I'm just going on the base with the guarantee. And Earl Spence is guaranteed $8 million. After said done, he's probably walking out of the ring with maybe $5.5 million, man, straight cash. And I hope Earl don't go out and buy another Ferrari or nothing like that. Get a minivan, man. Minivans are nice. I like them. I got one. Well, guys, I've talked here for almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 53 minutes going on 3 hours. I've rambled on about this, that, the other. And today, no call-ins. This is my first live stream, of course. So anybody wants to know me, anybody wants to talk boxing, next weekend we're going to be doing another live stream about Pulev and we got Pulev and Anthony Joshua next week on December 12th. I'll be here doing a live short stream. I mean, that's, of course, is not as exciting as this stream. I mean, this fight that's coming up tonight. But, you know, I'll be around to watch it. And I'll be around to talk about it all week. And you want to hang with me? I'm Greg, the Boxing Doctor. I'm over at theboxingscience.com, where we talk boxing business and boxing strategies. I'm going to head out. Talk to you later. Have a good rest of the day. See you after the